over 6 years ago, the pro-life cause took a new form for me. Where there was once only anger and frustration at the thought of the loss of innocent lives, as I held my newborn son in my arms, it all became so much more real to me now as a mother. In the occasional social media post, vote, or conversation with like-minded people, it felt like a shout into the void. I felt an overwhelming sense of compassion for the women who felt like they had no options and a push to act. And while I couldn't solve the world's problems, I could do my small part. So I began to volunteer as a client advocate. I made the choice to get involved in this way because it seemed clear to me that what a complicated and seemingly hopeless situation needed was the Spirit of God, which the Lord has conveniently placed in us. In believers, He has made us His dwelling place. And I believe Paul when he says that where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And so I wanted these women to meet with the God of Hagar, who saw her in desperation and made a way where there was none. The God of the woman at the well, who loved her and helped her break cycles she never thought she could break. The God of Esther, who empowered her with courage to do what she could never have done on her own. And so in this role, I've learned the power of presence. Not the perfect words or argument, not using shame or fear, but rather to simply be a vessel. I know in my own life, I couldn't accept the objective truths that the Lord had set until I knew that I was loved and seen and forgiven. It's His kindness that leads us to repentance after all. So this role has given me the tools that I needed to balance, as my pastor puts it, immovable convictions and shocking love, no matter the decision that is made. And it's been one of the greatest honors of my life to sit across the table from our clients and to work with the women at this center from whom I have learned so much. From Sarah, who I have watched bring peace into a room of chaos and panic. From Ellen, the other Ellen, as we like to call me, not you, who speaks wisdom straight to the heart of the women who are desperate for it. From Lisa, who I have watched weep with those who weep and show compassion to those who rarely get it. From Cecilia, who sets the tone of the appointment with joy and a smile. And from Shelley, who has devoted herself entirely to the passion of her life, advocating for those who have none, the woman and the child. But I've learned the most from our clients. The women that we serve are incredibly strong. And I have seen resolve in the eyes of a woman that the world has tried to beat down in every way. I have watched them sacrifice and do whatever it takes to provide for their children. I've watched women make life-affirming choices that upset every person in their life, yet they never give in. I have had women encourage me instead of the other way around. And I've watched women return and heal from the decision to abort, embrace mercy, and choose a new path forward. I've seen babies dance on ultrasounds as the client's eyes light up and she falls in love the way that only a mother can. I've heard heartbeats that were doomed to end continue simply because someone was willing to cheer her on, to get in the corner of a family and simply offer help. And you don't need to be a client advocate to do this, although we could use a few more if you're feeling that call, okay? Find Shelley after this. There are people all around us in our everyday life that could use this kind of support. And as you're going to hear tonight, I believe that there's many streams that we all have access to speak life over someone, to support in whatever way we can, to jump in and get our hands dirty. And all these streams lead to the living water, to the one way that leads to life. Thank you.
We didn't rehearse this. Neal, it's your turn. Hi, meet Zuzu. I'll bring it out here.
Well, good evening, and thank you everyone for being here this evening. So, I have to tell you, when I was first asked to be on the board here, as a male, I thought, what do I have to offer? My good friend Lee Wilbur was trying to convince me that I did have something to offer. And it was really through conversations with my other good friend, Donna Friend, and Shelley that says, hey, as a male, you do have something to offer, even though you may not see that. And they really expressed the importance of starting a fatherhood program here. And that spoke near and dear to my heart because of my own experiences with unplanned pregnancies and the effect it can have on your life. And so I happily agreed to come and be a part of this. And so I want to give a little brief update on what we've been working on the past year. So those of you that were here last year, if you'll remember, Ben Jett came up and spoke to us. He's the gentleman that started a fatherhood program down in Florida, and he talked about the effect that it was having on individuals to choose life. And so that was just a further realization that my friend Lee didn't call me to do this. Donna didn't call me to do this. Shelley didn't call me to do this. This was God calling me to do this because of my experiences in this. So we set out and started working on a plan. And so we met it was summer we met. And so we developed a plan. There's about 10 of us, and we had 4 goals. And the 4 goals were really the logistics of it. So what is the who and what of fatherhood program? What does that look like? What can we do? What kind of training would be involved to try to stand these young men up to help support the pregnant woman and choose life? How do we recruit mentors that want to be a part of this program? And then the easiest goal of it all was really just a lot of prayer. So again, like I said, we had that first meeting and we agreed we needed to come back and meet again. And so it was a month or so later, we came back and met. And at this meeting, we had over probably 35 individuals that showed up to help plan this from all faith backgrounds, from all walks of life. What was really inspiring to me, we actually had 2 women show up to kind of offer their input. And so we got into our groups and we worked on these goals. A couple of things that we realized was Shelley does a lot. She can't run this program. So we have to find someone to run this program. So we agreed that that's something we need to move forward with, is finding a man that can help stand up this program. We agreed that if we're going to recruit people, we got to get out there and train them. And so that's the other aspect we were looking at, developing a curriculum and then recruiting the men to come in and stand in that gap and mentor these young men to be there for their significant others during this time of pregnancy and support them. And most importantly, choose life. And then again, that last one, again, was easy. It's prayer. So then we come back about a month or so ago, and we had a third meeting where we really got to hear more about these other ministries. Step Ministry was very involved, and obviously they've done a wonderful job over the years of mentoring young people. And so they bring a lot of wealth and knowledge to the table that we hope to really learn from and grow. We got to hear what Young Lives is doing in the community to support young teenage women and the impact that they're making. And of course, we reached out to our fellow life partners in Caring Hearts because they are starting a fatherhood program too. And so they're looking to hire someone to do the same thing that we're wanting to do. So we took a look at what are the requirements we'd want in an individual that would do this for us. So those are kind of the updates of where we are. Now, Shelley, I didn't tell you this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I do have an ask. I ask that you commit to prayer support for this ministry. Having a male role model in this situation makes all the difference in the world. And I certainly don't want to steal Dr. Hill's thunder tonight because he has a lot to speak on this, but it makes a huge difference. Take it from someone that's experienced it. It makes a huge difference. The other thing I'm going to ask in prayer is for you men. Is ask yourself, is God calling me to be the man that is willing to stand up and stand in the gap to support these young men during this time of need? And if you are, Come talk to us. We want you. We need you. That's the only way it's going to make a difference, is if we are willing to put ourselves out there and stand up for what's important to us. So in a nutshell, that's kind of where we're at, and we hope to see this up and running very, very soon. I know that we've kind of stepped away a little bit as we come to this banquet, but after this, I'm sure Shelley's going to put us back to the grindstone and get us running. So look forward for your support, and again, thank you for your prayers.